Okay, we are recording. Excellent. All right, welcome everybody. I am Counselor Glenn Gower, and this is the latest in our Team Stittsville webinar series. As you can see on the screen today, I'm joined by a number of people from the community, from Stittsville and beyond, who are all involved in volunteering in the community response to the COVID-19 situation. So we're going to be speaking with all of them about what they're doing as individuals and as organizations to help out their fellow community members. So it should be a really good discussion. I also want to introduce from my team, Véronique Bergeron, who will be helping me as our co-host and watching the chat and the Q&A. So for people who are tuned in, if you have a question for anyone on the panel or just a general question, you can use the Q&A panel, and we'll get as many of those in as we can over the course of about 30 or 40 minutes here as we go. So why don't I start quickly or first with some introductions. So you can see everybody on the screen, so I'll tell you who we've got here. First we have, I'm just getting my list up so I get everybody's names and positions correct. We have Karrie Thomas from Sewing for Ottawa. Hello, Karrie. We have Wendy Parker, a Stittsville rock painter.
Hello. Hi.
We have Brad Weber from Flags for Unity. Hey, Brad. We have Andrea Greenhaus from the Stittsville Business Association. Good to see you. We have Faria Ershad, who's with Stittsville Volunteering, a Facebook group.
Hi, everyone.
We have Glynn Kneebone from the Kanata Stittsville Kiwanis group. And we have Marie Eveline from Volunteer Ottawa. So welcome, everybody. As I always say in these webinars, it is live. We're recording this live. You never know how internet connections are going to behave, and we may have kids and cats and dogs and family members coming in. So we make the best of it as we go. I wanted to start with, I was going to start with Karrie, and I can't see her video on the screen all of a sudden. There you are, Karrie. Karrie, let's start with you, because I know you have to leave us a little bit early. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing to volunteer and help out in the community. Oh, we'll take you off mute.
I have to take you off mute. So I've been volunteering with a group called Sewing for Ottawa for about a month and a half now. It's a relatively new volunteer group. We started as a result of a response to the COVID-19 outbreak, and our mandate is to support frontline workers across the city by providing them with items that they need that both make their life a little more comfortable at work, but also help support them in keeping themselves safe. To date, we have sewers located across the city. We have over 1,000 people on our Facebook page who are contributing either through sewing, fabric donations, driving around, picking stuff up. Some people are just watching in the background, which is also fine. But to date, the group has so far successfully finished 6,388 scrub caps with buttons, 6,931 headbands with buttons, 4,899 masks, and about 600 other items that have gone directly to nurses and other frontline workers, and as well as things like group homes and retirement homes and shelters across the city. It's a pretty big undertaking, and we're always looking for more people to help volunteer in sewing or in the logistics, and we welcome anybody who would like to contribute to the efforts.
How much skill would someone need if they wanted to help with the sewing part of it? Oh, I don't know if you heard me, Karrie.
We have some really Yep, I did.
Go ahead.
We have some beginners. We have people who have dug their grandma's sewing machine out of the basement, and it's the first time in their life that they're sewing. And we have people who are professional seamstresses or seams people. So there are a number of video tutorials that help people learn how to sew the items. You do have to understand how to thread your machine and to make it work. But other than that, if you can sew a seam, there's a lot of support there in helping you learn how to actually finish the items.
Well, and right now, your focus is on healthcare professionals first and foremost, and you mentioned retirement homes, which would be a vulnerable community. Is there a plan to sort of extend that out to the broader public, or are you really going to stay focused on healthcare for now?
So we're just finishing what we're calling phase one, where our goal was to support frontline workers. For phase two, we're starting to work with Ottawa Public Health, actually in their mass task force. And the idea there is to start providing vulnerable populations outside of like the healthcare frontline worker field with masks across the city. And so we'd be looking at more group homes, more homeless shelters, those populations within the city that couldn't reasonably afford to buy a mask, that type of thing. And we believe we have about enough materials to make about 7,000 more masks before we're out. So we do have quite a bit of work still to do.
Okay, well, that's pretty impressive. I know for people who are interested, who are watching this, interested, ottawapublichealth.ca/masks, there's an information page there about how to safely use a mask, and also organizations who are providing masks to the community. So if you're looking for more information about that, there's a
losing
there.
You. I think my connection is...
Okay.
Well, I didn't hear a word that you said there, Glenn.
It's okay, Karrie. I know that you may have to leave in the middle of this. I hope you can stick around for the rest of the conversation, but really amazing what you and your fellow volunteers are doing. So thank you for sharing that with us today. I'll go over to Veronique after this. Go for it.
My turn to not unmute myself. You'd think after 2 months of Zoom meetings, I would have it figured out. Thank you, Karrie. I was looking for the website from ottawapublichealth.ca. I'll put it in the chat box for if anyone's interested. The next person, like on my screen, is Glenn. Are you going by screen order, or do you have a list? I think you were working from a list.
We were going to go to Wendy next.
Wendy next. Okay, I'm going to go find the list. Wendy, would you like to tell us more about what you're doing?
Yeah, so it started with, I was sitting down and painting rocks with my son, who's 11, and I started to paint an Alex the Fox rock, which is our local mascot here in Stittsville. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be nice if children at the time, they weren't allowed to go on the playgrounds, they weren't allowed to, use the soccer fields or anything, and I know it can get really tedious for the kids and the adults. So I started to place rocks around the Stittsville neighborhoods, and it kind of went a little viral. And I've placed over, I think around 80 or 90 of my hand-painted cartoons. I'm not an artist at all, but I certainly do enjoy it, and I think that the kids do enjoy going for hunting times with their parents for them. And somebody asked for a rock to bring home with them for their garden for a donation to the Stittsville Gang. It kind of took off, and since then I've made, on top of the ones that went out to the community, I've made about 110 for local families in the community, and they're making donations to the food bank. So it's been a really good adventure, and it's been wonderful distraction for a lot of adults too, are going out and finding them.
I know that for a fact. I took my kids on a walk, and I'd heard about the rocks because some of my friends were talking about them. And I took my kid on the walk, and I didn't remember about the rocks until the children started finding them. And
nice!
It was like an Easter egg hunt. I cannot tell you the joy they had with the rocks. And I said,
so good.
Yeah, that's right. We got some of the little foxes and like that, and we weren't sure if we were supposed to bring them home. So I said, well, let's hide them again. So they would just fill their pockets with rocks and then hide them again, and it just kept them busy and engaged in the walk. So it was a real. It brought us a lot of joy. I can tell you that.
Oh, it's so glad to hear. And we back onto Pool Creek, and we put one in the trails behind our house every day. We put about 6 every day, as fast as I can paint them. And I love hearing, we can hear it from our house when a child finds a rock, or an adult, actually, we heard too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's bringing a lot of joy in these hard times, and having lost my income and having to shut down my business, it's so easy to just get caught up in that worry and that anxiety. So for me, this has just been really, really good for my mental health as well, just to work towards something that is giving back to the community. And then the whole food bank donation just took off as well. So
yeah, this is a great angle, that angle, to bring it to another great local charity. So it's good work. That's amazing.
Can I ask?
Oh, thanks. I have a callus now, but my family was missing me, so I had to take a couple days off, but I'm back to painting again this morning. So,
yeah.
Wendy, I was curious.
Sorry, I was going to say, Jeff on the chat box said, in the chat window, said that he spent 20 minutes yesterday trying to find an Alex rock. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them have disappeared. I'm not sure if people know they're supposed to stay in the community, but I work very hard to get more out every day. And around this area, Pool Creek, there's usually a few, because we put them out every day.
Yeah.
Wendy, for aspiring rock painters, what kind of paint do you use?
You know what? I have been so blessed with two businesses in the community. For the ones that go on the trails, I've used donated rocks from Tarstone and also from Earth and Water. And for the ones that, some people are donating $100 to the food bank for one rock. So I order those ones from Amazon because they're very smooth and they turn out a little more spiffy. But it's just regular paint, but it does take about an hour a rock, because I do 3 base coats, 1 white, 2 of the main color, 3 more designs, and then there's a shellac twice as well. So it's a 2-day process to make a rock, about an hour each. But the community has been wonderful. I ran out of varnish and I had people dropping it off at my house. I just had an order come in today. Somebody ordered it for me. And I've had such wonderful donations to the community. We even got a pizza because they realized that this is pretty much what I did from 6:30 in the morning until I went to bed. So I'm really grateful for that.
That's great.
I have mine right here. This is a birthday gift. And
it's one of my first edition ones. It's very basic.
Well, and I think a donation was made to the food bank for this one. Anyhow.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I've kind of upgraded my skill level a little bit. So you've got one of the originals, and I'm working on more of the same sort of Alex now, and I'm thinking about making some Canada Day ones. So I thought that would be really nice. And I started to get little wood chips as well. So I'm going to be hanging one in the tree. There's Christy is doing a community tree of happiness. So I'm going to be hanging some in there as well.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Canada Day, it's probably a good opportunity to move over to Brad. Brad, you've got Canadian flags right behind your head there. Tell us a bit about your initiative.
I do.
Community.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So as with all of us here, 60 days ago or so now, we all started to be stuck at home, I guess, doing the responsible thing. But, in watching news and things going on in the world, I mean, there was just so much being done by our frontline workers. And so whether that's the healthcare workers, essential workers like garbage men, restaurant workers, really everyone out there fighting the fight and helping us to stay at home and do the right thing. I was really trying to figure out how we can kind of visually say thanks to everyone. And one of the early ideas that came out was more audible, where you take your pots and pans and go outside and clank them. I'm not sure how many people heard that though here in Blackstone. So other than my neighbor's cat running away scared, it was a great idea, but maybe not a 24/7 thank you is what I was trying to think of. So very early on, we kind of thought, I have 3 daughters here, teenage girls, and my wife, and we thought, oh, we can paint some signs perhaps, things like that. And then really we started to think, what could do 2 things. Number one, show our thanks. while, you know, everyone has a Canada flag, or mostly has access to a Canada flag. And so let's put our Canada flags up. And what that flag symbolizes is every time a healthcare worker drives by, they can see that we support them and we thank them. And so we started the initiative here in the neighborhood in Blackstone Fernbank Crossing, and we've had just a great pouring of support. Quite simply, you know, if you've got a flag sitting in your house, hang it up outside, take a picture, post it to our Facebook page. But more importantly, it is the hanging it up outside, right? So every time a healthcare worker or essential worker drive by, it's that thank you. So if you don't have a Canada flag, fortunately, Canada Day is now 6 weeks away, so the dollar stores are full of them. Or quite simply, just paint one, right? We wanted to make sure there wasn't a lot of cost. It was something we had access to, and it was just a very visual emblem. And actually what ended up happening is it ended up becoming a neighborhood solidarity thing as well. It wasn't just a thank you, but it was also, you know, we're standing together on this. We're standing together as a community, as a nation. And when we originally started Flags for Unity, it was actually meant to be positioned as a global initiative. So no matter what country you're in, raise your flag, because that is your local solidarity. That is your country, whether it's Canada or the US or wherever you are. And if you're here in Canada and you have loved ones somewhere else, hang both flags or all three flags. So it is something we have easy access to, dollar stores, Amazon has them very readily available. So that was really, really how things got started.
And you've got a website and some social media. Do you want to share how people can find you online and share some of their photos and so on?
Sure. So we have a website. It's quite simply flagsforunity.com. We also have on Facebook, it's Facebook.com/Flags for Unity. There's a group there, there's a page there. So if you want to join the group and add some conversation to it, certainly take a picture of your flag on your house and post that. And we've also been throwing out some extra challenges, things like, you know, posting a photo of your hero. So who's your hero in the fight? Is it a healthcare worker that's a family member or friend or neighborhood? Is it just your mom who's been doing a great job, or your dad? Post them as your hero there as well. And also we're gonna start a new initiative here this week where it's holding a sign. So if you can take a sign, write your message on that, take a picture of it and post it on the site, thanking whoever you want, or just saying hello, or we're gonna get through this together. Again, it's about building that solidarity and showing thanks. So yeah, the Facebook page and the website are available.
All right. Well, that's excellent. Thanks for sharing that. And did you see the snowbirds? I guess it was last Friday the snowbirds were out, right?
It certainly did. Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Brad. It's great to hear about
My
this.
pleasure. Thanks.
This is great. And there's a note for Brad in the chat box from Sylvie, who says, "Thank you for the big flag, for the flag, Brad." So someone who got one of your flags. So it's really appreciated.
That's great. My pleasure.
The next person is on the list is Andrea from the Stittsville Business Association. Hi, Andrea. So yeah, Stittsville Business Association. These times have been difficult for businesses, and so I'd like to hear about what the association's doing in the community these days.
Absolutely. And we all know that our small businesses are the heart of our community, and a lot of them are hurting right now. They are either completely shut or are just barely scraping by. So we've been doing a lot. We're a young organization. We are just kind of in go get 'em mode, build it mode. And what we've done is we've really tried to reach out and help as many businesses as we can. The first thing that was done actually was to give back, and we're really lucky that the Bradley family, Ross and Corleen, Bradley made a big donation, and we were able to buy a number of gift cards from local businesses, including JoJo's, The Sweet Room, Napoli's, and we delivered, actually our president, Alan Ryan, who's got a heart as big as the biggest Canadian flag, I bet. He went around, he went to all our pharmacies, our grocery stores, the fire, police, and paramedics, to where else? I don't want to miss anyone. A couple of local RNs, and to the retirement homes, and brought them gift cards and gift baskets. So that was the first thing we did. The second thing we did is we opened up membership. We're basically waiving membership fees so any business can join. And then we've started, we do a lot of these Zoom meetings. Last night we had a town hall to listen to businesses in Stittsville and find out what more we could do for them. We had a town hall where we had members of parliament and the provincial legislature walk through some of the support programs that were available. We've also, we're having a webinar next week, I believe, to help local businesses who are starting back up, help them understand all the health and safety rules. Because one of the biggest issues for businesses starting again is making sure they follow all the guidelines, and there's a lot, and a lot of them are conflicting, and they have guidelines from the Association of Dentistry or whatever. So there's a lot of things that need to be considered. We're trying to promote as many local businesses. We've actually formed, we've joined it's called the Fan Saves. So this organization, I think they're based out of Kanata. They're a ticket reseller or something like that, but obviously there's no sports going on. So they created a website, and there's a page for every community that signs up. We've signed Stittsville up, and we've got businesses can list their business on the page, and anybody can buy a gift card. So you want to buy a gift card for JoJo's, a massage parlor, I shouldn't say parlor, but a massage therapist. Then you can go online and buy a gift card. So it makes it super easy to support local businesses. And yeah, basically last night there was a whole pile more ideas that were shared. So we're going to be hard at work doing that. And so as you can imagine, a lot of us are struggling to keep our business afloat, but we're also trying to help each other. And it's really powerful to see how members of the business community are coming together to support each other. So yeah, that's a lot of what we've been doing. And so anybody who's out there who has a business in Stittsville, please reach out to us. We have a website, just Google Stittsville Business Association. There's clear information about the membership, and we'd love to have you part of our organization. Thanks.
Yeah, this is great. I'm sure it's so important for businesses to support each other and to learn from each other. I'm sure that there's a lot of ideas that you might not have thought of yourself, and then that kind of melding of ideas would be beneficial for everyone.
Exactly. And we've got a lot of businesses that are competitors, but they're not. They can also support each other, what different dentist offices are doing, what different real estate offices are doing, what different stores are, how are they abiding by the rules, where are they getting their PPE, that kind of thing. So we're really trying to foster that collaboration and that innovation. There's been some great innovations like rereads, for example. They have all of their books online, and you can just order them. So you can, and they'll deliver them to your house.
This is great. And so the information for the business association it's available online on your website?
Yeah.
So and so what's the website? I will put it in the chat.
I think it's stittsvilleba.ca. I think
I'll check it and
just check it.
Okay, perfect. Glenn, it's back to you.
All right, thank you. Wanted to move to Fariha next. I just wanted to say one of the, I think the very first week of this, going way back to March, and I know there was a lot of confusion in the community. Particularly, we're hearing a lot from older adults in the community who were really concerned about going out to get groceries, and they weren't sure if they should go out and do that. And we heard from 2 or 3 older adults right away who said, can you help connect us with people in the community who could help us out, who could help run an errand for us, we don't feel comfortable going to the grocery store. And we turned right away to a group that I know Faria is a part of, the Stittsville volunteering group on Facebook. And right away, we were able to connect some volunteers with these seniors who needed the help. So it was one of the first volunteer connections that we saw in the community. But Faria, could you tell us a little bit more about the Facebook group and what you've been doing over the course of this physical distancing situation?
Hi, everyone. It's been a very nice journey of mine. And before I start, I'm going to tell something about myself. It's been 7 years. I'm a Stittsville resident, children of 2 beautiful kids, and I've been volunteering in the Westwind Public School as an executive for the last 5 years till my little one moved on to the middle school now. And it's a great experience volunteering, seeing where the need is required. So when this COVID-19 started, and we felt that we've seen all these messages coming from here and there, that how we're going to do things and how we're going to buy groceries from seniors and all that. I definitely want to mention the name of my very good friend. We worked together in school council too for many years, Anne Murphy. So she just messaged me and she says, Faria, let's start a Stittsville volunteering group. And I said, yeah, why not? It's a great idea. So we originally started the group on March 13th. We have 464 members as of now, and a great support then start pouring. People in the morning said, I'm at Costco right now, anybody wants anything? And then people start requesting things, and then the money always being given through e-transfers, porch drop-off. Thank you. Then we got approached by the seniors to support them and to call them, and not only to help out in this time of the year. We always felt when we were working in like elementary school as a volunteer executives and to run all these programs, we always lack how to approach the high school students who need volunteer hours. And then word of mouth goes, and then we get some, and then we cannot find some. But we thought after, when all this over, this will be a great platform for parents to ask for volunteer hours. Businesses were looking for volunteers for high school students. So it will be something continue to go further. Like that's the whole plan is. And like I said, the community supported us so well. Like, and even then I was able to connect because I'm part of Islamic Relief Canada, part of Central Muslim Association. So we had donated hygiene kits to seniors. We dropped them off to seniors as they message us. Then the Islamic Relief Canada made the food boxes, and I posted them on the site, and I got messages that that we needed. Then we supported the food bank through this thing, and then Teresa Kadri asked for the stuff she required, and just the word of mouth and this platform we have created, and Murphy and I, is just amazing how people are so supportive. And we even able to find a refugee family moved to Stittsville through this group. And then they just recently landed in Canada on 20th of March. And somehow they got a rental property in Stittsville. They moved from Jordan. And we supported them through the food and whatever the requirement. And like I said, we post things, and response is so amazing that I cannot tell you that how impressed I am and so proud of living in this community. We even have churches reach out to us, seniors members, who we want somebody to call them back. So we call them back to see how they're doing. So like I said, it's an amazing group created, and it's working very, very well. And like I said, if anybody needs any help, anybody need help, if you're going out for groceries, you think you can manage to grab something for someone, post on this site. And then if if they need help, they reach out to. They might not write it underneath, but they will private message you. I myself, one day stuck on something, and this fella I never knew brought this to me, and we e-transfer. It was not even $5 worth of thing. I also want to mention that I'm also helping. I have a group from Jeremy Omer and these bunch of ladies, and I messaged Karrie also that I received the button. So we are also sewing masks for Chio, for Queensway Carlton, for Ability, if I take the name right, Ability First Ottawa, Prince Edward Hospital, and so this group is also helping a lot of ladies in Stittsville. Also, I have tried to direct them also to Stittsville Sewing Group, to Karrie. I'm not too sure if they registered there or not, but support is coming from everywhere. So I just want to thank all of you for what you're doing. And if you need help from me in any other case, I'm always available. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. We've been talking a lot about, this is a crisis situation, an emergency situation. Usually when you have crisis and emergency, it's something like a flood, or we had a tornado in Ottawa a couple of years ago, and it's so easy to see where the need is. You see right away where the damage is, and you can say to people, come on out and help clear up the debris or help fill sandbags, and it's really easy for people to know where to go. This situation is so challenging because it's hard to know where the need might be, and I think it's really encouraging, first of all, that there's so many people willing to step up, but also that you're able to find people who need it, right, and be able to identify people who might be struggling right now. So really great way to network the community together. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and it's just for me the best part about this, because I can connect. I'm connecting associations with this group also, because most people didn't know about like Islamic Relief started giving these hygiene kits and these food boxes, and they're for everyone. Sometimes people think they're doing for their own community, but no, it's not the case. So when I posted these pictures and everything that is available, and then they even brought it down to my door, and then they left it there, and I have distributed from there. So it's so nice. And then some community contacted me, Sewing Ottawa, like, this platform is for everyone. If you wanted to add anything to it, you know what I mean? Of course, we admin will look at we're not appreciating any ads or selling at any point, but if anybody needs help, or someone needs help, just post it here, and help is on the way. Like 464 members in Stittsville, how generous this community is. I am so overwhelmed, and like I said, thanks to Anne who brought the idea, and I just supported it, and then from there it's amazing journey. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's
so
excellent. Thanks very much.
People would contact you through a website, or you?
We are just a Facebook group, so
group.
they can join the group, and then they can post there. If any help required, if they needed help, they can even private message us if they're not comfortable writing on the post. Mm-hmm. But and then we, myself and Anne Murphy, we can direct them and find them help in any way.
And the name of the group, if somebody was to look it up on Facebook?
Stittsville Volunteering.
Pardon me?
Stittsville Volunteering.
Okay, perfect. I will write it down in the chat, and for any participants who's looking.
And any of my fellow members, if they have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. This is amazing. There you go. Perfect. Just a second. I'm gonna find. So the next person we were going to go to was Glynn with Kiwanis, I believe, right?
Correct. Yes.
Sorry, we've met before. It's my mind has just gone blank for a second. So I know that we've been in touch with Kiwanis at the very beginning of this crisis. Right away asking, how can we help? Where can we be helpful? And I know that our office was very happy to be able to put you in touch with different community groups. But why don't you tell us what Kiwanis has been doing through this crisis and how you've been involved in the community?
Certainly. Probably I should first tell everybody what Kiwanis is. Kiwanis is an international organization. It's present in over 82 countries across the world, and it's been around for about 105 years this year. Having said all that, of course, I'm the president of our local Kiwanis Club, Kiwanis Club of Kanata, Stittsville. We've only been going about just over 2.5 years, and we're currently 18 members and growing. So with that, the focus of Kiwanis, its motto is serving children throughout the world, one community and one child at a time. So our entire focus is helping children in need and at risk. So for the COVID-19 situation, we were looking at how could we help. We had been looking previous to the event, to this crisis coming about, how could we help children in our community obtain computers, laptops, or whatever, so that they could engage socially as well as engage and do their schoolwork. So when this happened and all the schools shut down and they were moving to online learning, we decided to engage more forcefully and see if we could help those children who didn't have access to computers so they could participate both in the online learning and in social engagement with their peers. So we started up in partnership with one of our adjacent clubs, the Kiwanis Club of Bytown, because they run a foundation which could provide tax receipts for any money we raised. And between us, we started the Kiwanis Computers for Kids project. And we've now engaged the support of all the clubs in Eastern Ontario, which is a total of about 15 clubs spanning from Pembroke right down to Cornwall through Perth. And we're engaged in partnering with the two school boards, the Ottawa Catholic School Board and the Public Board, who both know while they are obtaining and releasing computers from their available inventory, they're only going out to all the children in need on an extended loan basis. So when the crisis is over, all those computers have to come back. It doesn't solve the longer term problem of what we'll term the academic, social, and digital divide that some children and families are caught in poverty. So what we're doing is raising money and buying and directly ourselves computers, principally Chromebooks, because all the school boards are using Chromebooks, and the Chrome school education system applications, as well as applications they've produced themselves. And we then donate those to children in need. We provide them, we deliver them to the school boards, and the school boards are identifying the families in need and distributing them for us. And even though the school boards have probably handed out on loan somewhere probably around 10,000 or more Chromebooks across the two boards, the demand is exceeding supply. So far to date, we have managed to fund and deliver 60 computers between the two school boards and out to the Renfrew County School Board as well, through Pembroke, through our Pembroke Club. And we have another 20 on order, and we're continuing to raise money. And as we can raise more money, we'll deliver more computers and we'll keep it going. And we expect to make this probably an annual event, because the need will certainly exceed past this crisis.
It's such an important thing, because that's something I didn't realize as a parent. Like, our family wants for nothing, we have a computer, and then from one day to the next, we have a large family, we have 5 children in school, and all of a sudden, and we thought, well, we'll use that one computer, and then suddenly we have 5 children and 2 adults who need to work, and we need 7 computers overnight. And even for a family like ours, which, like I said, needs for nothing, that gave our head a real spin, because the need was immediate, and so I can imagine that a lot of families thought, oh, we can do with our computer, and then realized, oh my goodness, we need 1 per child in those circumstances.
Yeah.
So
a lot of the families we've been supporting are in that situation. And we have other families who we provided computers to where all they had was a cell phone.
Right.
I've received wonderful thank yous back from families. The school boards are, our contacts in the school board have said that they now, one of the achievements out of this is they have a database of need in the community that they never had or understood before. And so what I say to people, well, what does it cost for a computer? Well, right now we've been getting some through the Costco organization around $283 a computer, including tax. We've had some refurbished ones at $250. So they're not hugely expensive. And as I say, if 1,000 people each donated $20, we could get 70 computers.
That's wonderful.
And we've already raised $20,000, and we're getting a grant from Kiwanis International, which will bring us up to about $24,000 to keep going.
That's wonderful. And because before we close up, I was wondering if we wrap up with you. I was wondering if you had any plans for your talent show, because this year.
Yes. So the talent showcase we run every year. We started it last year. Glynn was a big supporter of it for us. The concept is it's not a talent contest. The children donate their talent and time. We put on a show and they raise money, which we then use within the community. Last year we raised over $4,000 that we have dispersed across various community services in the community to help children. We had 43 video auditions submitted this year. And we've unfortunately had to put it on hold and possibly run it in the fall, but then that's getting close to running again in the summer. So we're currently talking amongst ourselves at setting up maybe a virtual show where they can perform it. We'll record it, we'll put it online. We may have even you, Glynn, be one of the introducers to introduce an act. We have Dylan Black, who was lined up last year. He was going to be our MC this year. So we're looking at maybe doing it virtually through Zoom and other tools, possibly in June. And at the same time, people who want to view it can donate, hopefully, to this cause. So we still want to do it. And we'll definitely be running it again next year. If necessary, maybe we'll give those who are in the concert this year an opportunity next year to do it, and maybe have 2 shows next year. We'll see. So we're still pushing forward. I should add, we're also looking at starting up another virtual program for this during this, where we have people record reading children's books. And we'll put them on a site where parents can access them and view them and play them, and have the stories read to their own children, and maybe members of the public, if they're up to it, can volunteer and also submit a video recording of them reading a book to a child. So that's another program we're looking at setting up.
That's wonderful. All right, Glynn, it's back at you.
Just thinking the last point there, so many volunteer organizations, charity organizations, trying to find creative ways to fundraise, because so many fundraising activities involve getting together face to face. But we're almost out of time. And Marie, thank you so much for your patience. I was thinking, Marie, it's almost a year since we had our Stittsville Volunteer Awards, and you were our guest speaker at that. We have postponed our volunteer awards until at least the fall. And I have a feeling this year we will have no shortage of nominations. Anyhow, I wonder if you could, you're with Volunteer Ottawa. I was wondering if you could tell us just briefly about what Volunteer Ottawa does normally, and how Volunteer Ottawa has done a bit of a shift to support the efforts during COVID-19.
Oh, absolutely. We've been around for 60 years. And what we've been doing over those 60 years is supporting not-for-profit organizations find volunteers to meet their needs. So what we try and do is make sure that organizations can post their volunteer opportunities, and then individuals can search those opportunities to find something that meets their passion. And on any given day, we have about 9,000 volunteers in our pool who are ready and willing to volunteer in any area. And we usually have at least 500 opportunities posted by organizations on any given day. But with COVID, things became quite different, especially with regard to the social distancing rules and rules with regards to isolation and protection, especially for vulnerable populations. We all know that a lot of the volunteers in our community are seniors, and seniors have had to sort of withdraw from the volunteering and so we've been trying to help organizations fill those needs that seniors have left. And in fact, a lot of seniors need support now because they're isolated socially. But there are also unique components with the COVID pandemic in terms of ensuring safety. We wanted to make sure that individuals who were volunteering specific to COVID, we had in place safety protocols to protect them and protect the individuals they were helping with. So we decided to set up a separate section on our website just for the COVID volunteering, so that individuals can look at the kind of level of volunteering they're comfortable with, and they can register, either to register to do virtual volunteering, where they don't have to have any interaction with anyone, or light touch volunteering, where it's sort of things like delivery of food and that to homes, or high touch volunteering, where they actually have physical contact with the individual they're helping. So we put a call out and said, look, we have a pool of 9,000 people, but we don't know how many are interested in helping with the COVID pandemic. To date, we have 1,700 volunteers who've registered just to help with COVID-related activities. And we've been quite astounded by the level of interest that has been demonstrated by the community. And in fact, we have more volunteers than we have opportunities. And we've been spending a significant amount of time going out to organizations within the community and saying, look, you need volunteers. Because if you do, just post the opportunity on our website. Because we have a section where volunteers can register, but we also have a section where community organizations, not-for-profits can register the opportunity, and we'll help match it. We've put in place safety protocols, screening mechanisms, and that. So we have a lot of resources that organizations can use to ensure safety, but also to help train the volunteers if there has to be training involved. So we've been focusing primarily on COVID recruitment, recognizing there's also day-to-day needs that organizations have not related to COVID. But with the pandemic, a lot of not-for-profit organizations have virtually shut down. And so they're not recruiting volunteers, but they're starting to slowly, as businesses are trying to slowly gear up, not-for-profit organizations are slowly gearing up again once the isolation is a bit lifted. So we're finding that the demand for volunteers will probably increase, but the response from the community has been great in terms of saying, I want to help, and whether it's first level volunteering or even the more close high level volunteering, the community and companies, we're getting a lot of companies calling us and saying, look, we want to organize something for our employees to sort of, find us an opportunity to volunteer, whether in that. So I was quite interested in, if there's need for volunteers to sew masks or do sewing, post it on our website. We've got 1,700 people ready and willing to go to help out in the community. So we've been finding it quite heartening. I mean, we know that we had a lot of volunteers for the tornadoes and floods, and we always know that Ottawa citizens always step up. But COVID is a little different in terms of the social distancing and the impact that has on how to volunteer. And we've had many organizations having to rethink how they use volunteers, like for wellness checks, for example, where you used to go and visit a senior in the home. Well, how do you transfer that to phone calls? And how do you, properly phrase those and ensure that a person's comfortable talking about how they're feeling during the isolation process? So we're working with the organizations to help them, and we're working with volunteers to say, these are the kind of things you have to keep in mind when you're volunteering so you're safe, and so it's been a really challenging experience, but it's been great in terms of the way the community stepped up.
I think it's a good reminder too. We're also focused on COVID-19, as we should be. It's a crisis, but there's all sorts of organizations that are still doing good work and still require volunteers across the city. But it must be a really good feeling as the executive director of a volunteer organization to have more volunteers than there are things to volunteer with. Although I'm sure that's not a totally accurate way to put it, but must be nice to have such a surplus of volunteers right now.
It is, and I think we're trying to ensure that those volunteers keep interested, and that's so we're interacting with them quite regularly, and we're trying to go do a lot of outreach to find opportunities, because like a lot of emergencies, you get a lot of people at the beginning, right? And then as time goes on, sometimes that drops off, but the need doesn't go away.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make sure that those volunteers who haven't had an opportunity yet keep engaged and still are aware that there's a need there. And we're also anticipating a significant number of youth volunteers as soon as the federal government announces the program about getting money for their tuition through volunteering, which is going to be announced fairly soon. And that's, but we've already had a lot of calls from students to say, I'm very interested. How can I sign up?
Well, that's great to hear. That's really encouraging, actually. Well, we're actually almost out of time. I can't believe how fast sometimes these conversations go. I just thinking about what we've heard today and all the different ways that people in the community are helping out. We have people who are sewing masks for frontline workers, who are painting rocks, really to lift community spirits and to help fundraising. We have people flying flags to show their support and their community commitment as well. And we have groups like the Stittsville Business Association, so many businesses struggling, and yet you're still focused on giving back and helping others. And then with groups like Stittsville Volunteering on Facebook or Volunteer Ottawa, all these groups trying to connect people together and make sure people who need help are getting help. And you touched on it, Marie, and Glynn had said it earlier too. The needs outlast the crisis. And I think what I'm really hearing that's encouraging here is we're building a great foundation, a great community network of people who are willing to step up. We talked a lot last year about the importance of getting involved in the community and what that can do to transform and change a community. And I think that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing people working together, getting involved, making a difference, and we're seeing our community grow and be a much healthier place to live. So I want to thank each of you for what you're doing, and please pass on our thanks to all of your fellow volunteers. For anyone watching today, if you do want to help out or get involved, you can email my office. We'd be happy to connect you to any of the individuals here, glenn.gower@ottawa.ca. We have some more webinars coming up in the coming weeks. Next week we are doing, I've got to keep track here. On Thursday, we're doing a webinar about new traffic calming on Fringewood. And the week after that, we're finally going to do our virtual civics class. We've had to postpone a number of times for some scheduling issues. But if you've got elementary students in your household, check out glenngower.ca/webinars, and you can see an upcoming list of what we're doing. I hope everybody has a great long weekend. I'd like to say thank you to Veronique for her help as my co-host today. And thanks to everybody who's tuned in. Have a great rest of the week and take care. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.